Have these beings ever been into themselves? What does really occur? Have you been burned to death to source? What do you chase? Where do you put your hands and feet into? Have you gazed into the hole? Where do you put your godly hands and feet into? Do you mirror yourself with what you do? Are you conscious about how you act and what your move mind is? Do you feel actually what's happening? We put our godly hands into the realm, into the room, into the consciousness. We construct the whole thing with it. And that's all we could do. I mean, like, these are the values, what our mind should be. It's very bizarre. Like, you see your mind as a direct reflection in front of you. This is what we've done with our minds. You think that's advanced? Like, I observe the stillness. I observe and distill myself so many times. And I'm resonating from the deepest heart, compassionate level, speaking completely truthful with you, and tolerating whoever might come up. But on the outside, on the surface, which is funny enough, not even grabbable, it's not even existing if you really understand it. It's not there. It's not there. I observe my whole ashram here. You want to see my ashram? I'll show you. My temple, my pyramid of God. That's it. You can see it. That's my holy realm here. Can you get that? Do you understand it, what I show you? This is where I put my godly hands into. These are all my holy gifts and presents that I present to myself. You get that perception and perspective? My scepter, my Persian scepter. Like, you have no clue how holy this is. You become very conscious about what you have, how you work with it. This is your consciousness. You construct it. And it seems like this is what many souls have forgotten in here. That we are doing this with our clownish claws. That we reach into the realm and we grab certain things and we construct with our imagination with our minds, but no wonder no one is really doing that, because on the deepest surface, which they have not even been to, they're resonating with a complete false mirror, that something was reflected inside of them which is not themselves. You don't understand what I'm speaking here, but this is the truth. This is what really occurs. All you've been told is a lie. That's not you. You are nothing. You have to die in the first place, metaphorically. Because if then somebody would look at this, they'd be like, "Whoa, he said he might kill himself." I'm speaking from the mind perspective. You're immortal. But you have to get to that type of outlook. You have to get into the black hole. You get it? Once you get into the black hole, you start to realize that this is all a magic imaginational realm. That everything that you have inside of your mind is what you construct with your godly abilities of your mind, heart, and hands. Nothing else is really there. You can never hold on to something. How could you think that you grab certain things and they belong to you? How would you do that? Why? What is that? That's a very narrow-minded perspective. That's not holistically, that's not mystically, that's not holy. That's not mystical at all. These monkey minds, which are running around in here, think they could hold on to something in the jungle of mind. The rising sun. You think in this playground, you can, in this playground, you're still in the kindergarten, yo. You have to listen to me. Like, I teach all of you. You have no clue what this really is. You still go to kindergarten. But you've probably never been into the Garden of Eden. All of you walk in kindergarten. And you play around in here and you be like, "Oh, this belongs to me. Like, this guy has done that to me. Now I'm fighting him." This is, you see how you act in here? I'm not even laughing about you, because this is very poor how your mind is working. It's like, "Oh, in this game, I better construct a certain company." A company? You construct a company. To fight whom? You project your own mirror in front of you. You project your own consciousness, your own mind in front of you. That's all you do here. Yeah, I use technology. I mean, technology has brought us certain things. It is good because it is putting the material, it is putting the ether grid, which was always there, in a more densified version, that now more people have access to the information which was already there. The ether grid. How could you go into the ether? That's impossible. That's not true. Your monkey mind is very retarded. You're an idiot. I love ants, you know. If I see ants, that's what you are. Like, I have love for you. I have so much compassion for you that I let you on my holy temple, on my holy pyramid, on my ashram. I'm a giant. G-ant, you know. You get that? I'm a gray one. I'm a ray. Nothing more than my voice. But I still have to explain all of this to you. Because I take a look in the mirror, and all I see is that these ants, these monkeys, these animals are still trying to fight against each other. Everything is mind. You are a spirit encapsulated in your dense avatar. That's what occurs. So you do certain things for the bigger mind, for everybody basically. That's what we all do in here. But funny enough, that's how it was always and how it was meant to be. You come here to walk on earth, to walk on your heart, to get a feeling of love, to experience love basically, because in the first place you're very much cold. You come from the poles, from polar stars. You come down here and you go like, oh, this is how we do it in this realm. All right, let's go to hell. Let's experience the whole densified shit. I've done that. Should I dig more into the matter? Every time, I could do it because I can balance myself out. I have the blueprint for that. But it seems that most beings just need more education on how to switch between realms, and then just don't take it too seriously. Really, don't take this game too seriously. It's a game. And in this trickings, in my tricks, that I'm only pulling myself under. Because how could I ever say that another consciousness exists? It's impossible. I can never prove to my consciousness that another consciousness exists. That's not possible. So the only thing that I could ever do is rising in myself or falling in myself. So this is what the switcher, the witcher, the wizard does. And I don't fight. What should I fight for? If I would fight, I would only fight against myself. So if I educate myself. That's intelligent because I'm becoming more wise. And sometimes it's like, okay, the fight might be necessary in order to break through the next barrier, but the fight really occurs in your mind. That's what you do. So you break through the next realm, through the next barrier, only with your spirit. So this is when you become really wise, when you become really gray, because you alchemize and you fuse white and black together. This is how you punch everything in. And funny enough, like I said, everybody's keeps mirroring themselves, don't consciously realize that. They're like, oh, you keep chasing something in the mirror. That's all you freaking monkeys do in here. You animals. You're animals. You're possessed with animals. You think like, oh, I could go further into this. Like if you would knew that, what I would knew, why don't you speak about it? Yeah, hold on to it because then I could use it for my betterment, so I can get more money, currency. This is retarded. This is completely. What kind of perspective is that? So either way, you don't know what I know, or you're very much selfish. That means you'll sell your fishes. This is only occurring all in your mind. So this is the spiritual dimension. Do you have to get lost in the spiritual dimension? No. But like I said, we construct with our godly hands and feet. So become very aware of where you put your energy, your imagination into. Because that's what will become matter. And where you get that information from. From the spiritual realm, of course. Of course. On course. I'm very much on course. but I'm driving my own ship, off course, on course, because I'm anchored. There are not many beings who are anchored, who are so truthful, which are burned already, and they burned themselves so many times that they're only a skeleton, and they're completely truthful from the inside and outside. And they're completely transparent. That's what I do. That's what my alchemy does. Because I know I can never hold on to anything. It will get sooner or later into the mist, into the ether grid again. Guess what? That's what we all do. We come here having this experience and then we're gone. Like, this is what the magic wizard does, right? Hello, I'm here. I'm gone. Ninja. So I'm like, and I'm here to be like, hey, I'm only this mirror to you who gives you your information back, how this all works, and you can work with it. Or you'd be like, no, that's not for me, I move on. Sooner or later, we come all to the same perspective and perception again. That this was only a walk, a transport station of our souls, of our light, of our black soul, of our black sun. Because if you take a really close look into the mirror, what kind of pupil shines out? What kind of color does your pupil have? It's black. It's black. So that means on the deepest surface, you are already burned. Because if you would burn something, what do you have in the end? Something black. So black is the essence. Black means everything. This is why you get the black belt in martial arts. This is what alchemy means. If you burn something, you have the end essence of it is black. So out of the whole, out of no thing is what you create. That means that we have all certain potentials in ourselves, semens or eggs, that we rise up through the spine, through the spinal cord, into the head, into the Kundalini head space, into the mind space. This is where we can create our imaginational process, our ideas. There you have it. This is how it all works. But you've been all under a certain spell. You've been all told lies from the mirrors outside of you that you think were real. As long as you're not in certain points of contact with it, if you just walk around like this, what do you have? You have nothing. Nothing than your own voice and what you have inside of your mind. But your senses are so full with every information that you've been told that even my voice is very slowed and dense. But on the deepest surface, I resonate with truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. I mirror that out, and this is what it becomes. So we live in this giant hall of mirrors where so many souls are completely dead, not to the degree of dead holistic, but dead to the degree of you've been told a complete lie. Because you're only here for your own soul development. That's it. You think you live here in this calendar, in this Gregorian calendar of 2021, and today we have what is it? Oh, Valentine's Day, by the way. Saint Valentine. Like the sun, the only thing that I can really ever be sure of, the sun rises and the sun sets, and then the moon comes up and the moon, and that's the whole cycle. And you can break out of the cycle of the sun and moon. You get out of the worldly things. You observe it all. You rise above it, and you be like, you know what? All I've been told, all these calendars, all these spells do not seem very real to me, because in the first place they are just symbols and letters. I have no clue what they mean. So that means you fall so deep into the hole of you become a Babi. You get into Babylon. This is where the original things were made up. This is what Babylon is. Babylon is something which told you how it all would work. But that's not true. The truth is that you've been creating it all out of your mind. You were only facing your own soul. That means that everything that you've perceived throughout your whole life was only the journey from and of yourself. So if you get to that perspective, the quest is now, this is real shamanistic empowerment, shamanic empowerment. Now the quest is, what would you like to do? Are you anchored in yourself? Can you do certain things with your mind? Because this is what creates your outcome and your income. In the first place, you're the complete temple. You have to master yourself. Then you're a free spirit, a free being. If you're a free spirit, free being, you walk your path. You walk your Tao, your Tao. That's what the Taoists and Taoists have done. I'm a keymet. I'm an alchemist, adept, shaman. I'm whatever I spell myself with. Because I have a free voice. I'm free to speak everything into existence. That's what it cures. But you think, oh no, this is like, what is he doing? Yeah, you've lost all your magic powers. You've lost all your spelling capacities. You've lost all your original workings that every being, every soul has in this dance avatar. Sure, like the system provides somehow to something for me, but how would you measure? Okay, take a deep walk into yourself, into your black soul, into the black sun soul. So now really listen here and work on your perception, on your scepter. What does really occur? All everybody does is spelling themselves out. I do not take care about how many views my videos have. I do not take care about how my videos are rated. What I take care about is I walk my own path. I walk my own Tao. I see where it gets me, but I'm resonating with truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. And I see what I attract. And only the things that I spell out are truthful, are compassionate, are tolerant. But you've been completely fooled by all the signs and symbols and spells and letters that you think, oh, look at this. He has so many views and so many letters and so many ratings. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. I could show you this symbol. Could you decode it? Can you decode that? Can you decode this? No, you cannot. Because you have no imaginational process. You do not know what it means to me. I do not know what it means to you. So that means the only thing that really exists and the only thing that you really put out is your own imaginational process. It's your own image. And what you connect with it. I have no clue what all these things are that I'm surrounded with. Sometimes I do not even want to put my hands into them. But I go out into society and I see all of these things. What can I do about it? Should I walk around like this? Maybe that might be very much more helpful. Because that's so much distracting. So much. And you do not know what kind of realm and womb I hold up into my voice. I hold up into myself and what I spell and speak out. And how powerful that is. Because that's the original thing. I'm original. I am. I have a spiritual connection. Black block blink. I blink into the system like this. You get it? I'm walking basically through a desert here. That's what that's an alchemical perception of life. You want to become real powerful? Get into micro movements. For example, like this. Like I completely twist time with that. You get it? But not many beings are so real and truthful on the inside and outside. Because this is an imagery trickery. It's not about what you see, it's not about what you hear, it's not about what you smell or feel or taste. It's not about that. It's what you develop in your black soul, in your mind, in your essence. What is your essence? What is you? What is on the deepest level of yourself? What is that? The whole. What is the whole in you? Have you created a hole inside of your skull, inside of your school? Your schooling system? The only thing that really schools yourself is your skull. Skull and bones. You get even further, it's like, okay, the complete black essence. It sounds too esoteric for you. This is a spiritual whatever. You don't understand it. Yeah, you don't understand it because you have a monkey mind. Your monkey mind is running around like Hanuman. Because you cannot fast, you cannot calm your mind. Like only because you imagine you would have $1 trillion and you would live in a giant palace. Imagine that. Still, the only thing that you could ever observe is a picture, is an image, is a momentary image of yourself. That's what you basically perceive with your eyes, ears, nose. That's all you really see. Now you have certain feelings. Oh, but no, I want to be safe. I want to be like, I build up this whole castle. Yeah, why you do that? Why you keep feeding yourself with all this shit? Because you do not feel safe in yourself. You're afraid of the fall. You're afraid of the atum, the autumn. You're afraid of the fall. You're afraid of the winter. You're afraid of the cold. The cult of what? You create the cult. That's the truth. The truth is that you create everything out of black. Because it's lacking everything. There's nothing. Nothing. Now then something is being created for you. What you perceive. That's all you could ever have. And you only move from moment to moment. From blink to blink. From I blink to black to block. So you block yourself in order to get through the block. To get rid of the chains. To be free. No, you become very free. You be like, okay, yeah, so I'm free like a bird. So then what should I do now? Like, okay, I could go everywhere, anywhere. But basically, then you realize, I never go anywhere. I never go anywhere because I'm anchored in myself. Like, the only thing that really changes is the positions in my temple, my own mind state, the things that I'm feeling, observing, and how I move in myself. And what I put in my temple, and how does that have an effect in myself? People would call it maybe drugs. I call it alchemy. But this outlook is what you can develop in this game if you want to get to the next stage. But most of the souls are so like trapped in this game. You still play chess in here, but you're not a player. You're like, I don't know what you are. Like you are you even a figure? Are you a figure in the? Are you like then we get into again self-made, companies, entrepreneurs. This type of outlook that I just described is never changing. I mean, you could produce all of this for you. So what then? What would you then? What would you do then? What is it then? So you get more money in order to create what? To create another image, to support a certain idea, to support a certain system. I have my hands and feet in all realms and all rooms. I reach my hands and feet in all realms and rooms. And what helps with that is gym ball training, because you activate your complete feet in all directions. So you become very aware of what you do and where you position yourself. So this, what I'm doing here with my hand, becomes very much of a practice. This becomes like, I could literally, and I was doing that, so this was proving basically my mental powers. On a mushroom trip, I was like taking the sun and I was doing this with the sun, yo. Isn't that freaking pharaoh-like? I was taking the sun not only with my hand, only with my mind, and I was moving the freaking sun in the sky, yo. Can you do that? No, you cannot. Is it about showing off powers? No, it's not. Like, it's about sharing compassionated what this whole system is and what this trickery is of yourself. I'm the black sun emitter. Because even if the sun would fall out of the sky, everything will basically die. But I would survive because I emit light out of my pupil. And that means I'm getting out of the worldly perspective. I'm not attaching my mind. I have no attachments. I'm not attaching my mind to certain ideas. Because I am. I create. I've not been created. I created myself. The pharaohs created themselves out of their own image. This is why I look so complete, original. I'm mystic adept because I am adaptable. Like I'm like glue, you know? I glue everything together. And I see like, oh, I fix everything. Everything that other souls, they're not even souls because they have no light. The peepholes, they're not even peepholes because they do not be in pee-pee. I don't know what they are. They are spells, maybe letters. Are the letters and numbers? Letters and numbers I fix together and I put together. This is what my spelling capacities are. I fix and put together letters and numbers. I glue all of you together because you have no clue what you even are. You just a certain symbol to me. Because you're not self-identified. You have not the ability to spell and speak yourself. You make fun of Waldorf pedagogy, where children learn to identify with letters because they mimic with their holy temples, with their bodies, a letter. You have no clue what that really means, how powerful that is. They identify with the letter. That empowers them to be the letter. That empowers them to spell out what they have inside of their mind because they become literally the letter or the number. But you make fun of it. You be like, hey, look at them. What are they doing over there? You're so completely retarded because you yourself are living under a certain spell of somebody else and you're functioning under their ideas. You're not self-empowered. All you do is following another guideline. Oh yeah, they told me, so I have to do that. No, you're completely an idiot. You're an idiot. And you're retarded because you're late. You've never fasted. You have not empowered yourself. All you think is another belief system. But I still love you and be compassionate with you. This is why I give you and provide this information to you. All right, like I imagine I'm in a complete desert here. Everybody's literally dead. There's nothing as the sun and only myself. I'm probably naked and I only would have my urine. This is what I'm walking, and this is why I completely am the way I am. This is what it is. Nothing really exists. That's an image to me. I gaze into an image. That's not real. And that's the type of magical outlook, magical perception, magical perspective. Nothing is really there. How would it ever be? I cannot reach into it. I cannot touch it. And there are many beings who would have the same outlook to it, but they are not so transparent that they would speak about it. Or I just don't know about it. And this is what gives me my power. My voice gives me my power. My resonance. That's the only real thing that I can have to give you information. I could also spell things down, which I'm doing here. Can you decode that? Can you decode my magical spells and sounds? Can you decode this? Like, you know what I'm doing here? I scan. I'm a freaking scanner, yo. With what I do, I scan your, like this. You know, you go food shopping. You know what I do? Like, I scan with this scanner here. I scan the freaking matrix. Now I give you I give you light over here because you want to get real light. You gaze into my eyes. I give you the code into my eyes, yo. And people still be afraid of the sun. It's funny, right? They're afraid of themselves. They're afraid of breaking the mirror. I'm a freaking cosmos. That's a certain type of outlook. Sounds crazy to you, right? Oh no. Okay. If you would live in a desert, if you would live in a natural tribe, you would have nothing. But what would you build yourself with? How would you build up your temple? How would you build up your society, your tribe? How would you do that? It's all consciousness based. It's all encoded in your own temple. The pyramid is the prison that you look out from. And this mirror has been purify your eyes to create your vision. Put pee-pee in your eyes to see. But you cannot do it because you live in a society which tells you that if you would do that, like the parameters and the values of this society would be like, oh, this guy is a freaking idiot. This guy is completely stinky, a hobo, a piss drinker. He's retarded. He's out of his mind. He's completely crazy. Like, no, look at what you do. Look at what you do here. Look at that. And you tell me that I will be a crazy piss drinker? No, I'm the most truthful, compassionate, and tolerant being in the whole freaking realm. That's it. And I'm transparent. I don't hold on to anything. I provide wisdom, gray information for you. I'm a wise hat. I'm a black magic nation. Holy kemetic yoga, all is mind state. That's all my state. It's my state here. Because it's mind state. Nothing else. You think you live in a certain country. You count, can you even count? Like, you cannot count. Country. You live in a country. Try to count. Try to decode. Try to spell. You think you live in a country. That's a belief system. I live in the Americas. I live in Germany. I live in this. I live in that. Yeah, I have no clue in the first place where I live. Yeah, I've been told, I live in this capital for a fact. That's not the original workings. The original workings is that you came here, you have your experience, and you leave. And you walk on this earth. You get certain tools that you attach yourself with and you identify yourself with in the first place. That's your freaking problem. And you're afraid of losing all of them. Because you're afraid of the death. You're afraid of the dying process. Which you basically do every moment when you shut down your eyes. This is when you die. I'm dead. I'm alive. I'm dead. Alive. And basically, because I have a black soul, gray soul, gray matter, black and white together. But my pupil is black. How can it be that if I would gaze into a hole, it's black, right? I gaze into a hole. The hole is black. It seems like there's nothing in it. If I take a look into the sun, my hole, which is my pupil, becomes smaller. So it seems like, oh, I'm going into the light. Still, if the sun is going down, my pupil becomes wider, so the black hole opens. So who is it? How could it be that something which is black emits light? Because otherwise I would not be able to see. That's the real black sun. So the black sun rising. And in the end, like I said, funny enough, all these things which are occurring in the human mind and in the human mind state, in my mind state, are happening in society. So how could I ever tell that another consciousness exists than my own? Or we're just the complete same being. Or I'm the godly temple of the whole humanity. And if I cultivate myself, I cultivate the whole humanity. That's what it probably is. Because I take a look into other mirrors. I take a look at like how mirrors are basically created, and they do not seem real to me. Like they identify with certain other parameters, with certain other layers. So they resonate not on the deepest level with truthfulness. So no matter what they would speak out, what they would spell out, might be true, but it's not true from the original, from the essence. Yeah, so I continue my path. I walk in this desert realm. I walk in this like land of the dead. It's an interesting outlook, huh? Like walking through the desert. I'm a desert rose. I give you my glow no matter where I am. Because I like I said, I emit the whole full color rainbow out of my eye. Whole. Which is black. So this is welcome to the mystical realm. All you ideas. Everything is an idea basically. You're just nothing more than an idea. And I tolerate that, but it's like, I mean, interesting. But the original things have always been there for you. Do you want to get in them? Seems like there are not many truthful beings or real beings or original beings in here. Because if they open up their mouth, they'd be like, oh, it's this, it's that. I'm like, okay. I mean, like flex your whole into it. Can you do that? Can you flex your whole? Can you flex your mind state into something? No, you can't. Why? Why can you not flex your mind state into certain ideas? I cannot do it. I can do it, and then I become the idea, and I figure out, well, interesting, but I mean, beneficial, maybe. To go where? I never go anywhere. I only look out. And I look in. And I see what it becomes. And it might be whatever it is. It is what it is. You move like you move. That's your mind state. But the goal would be to burn yourself to the essence down, to cook yourself over and over and over and over and over again, so you become true. That's what the goal of martial arts, alchemy, yoga, chematics, hermetics, is to become yourself. Your own self, and then you figure out, well, it's my soul that looks out, it's my sun, it's my light, which shines out from the perspective of the own cosmos. That's what the universe is. The universe are the verses that I speak. I am in verses. I am inverted. I inverted, flipped, and tricked. I trick around with this whole game. Because I see the code and I can like, this is not like what you think it is. This is not what you think it is. Because it is you. that looks out, who is creating the whole mystical realm. Like I said, I can never prove that another consciousness exists than my own. So, that means that even if there would sit another consciousness in another soul, in another vessel, we are all creating mirrors for each other to identify with it and then mirror that back to ourselves. So we take the truth, which is always there, we grab it, which is the problem, that we're not open about it. We pre-pack it with our own ideas, and then we resell it back to ourselves and be like, okay, now we put that certain label on it, and this is why you have to do that with it. That's the whole freaking problem with the human consciousness perception. If you would break free from all the labels, from all the symbols, from all the spells, this is why, is there a symbol for John Shamanic? No. Is John Shamanic changing on the outside how he looks? Yes. Why? Because I'm a living soul and I'm redeveloping and I'm always improving, although there's nothing to improve. It's always myself who looks out and I never go anywhere. This is the whole freaking clue. The glue, which glues together the whole freaking consciousness realm. Like, you see, this is what I do with all of you. I okay, we do this today with you, and we do that. I still love all of you. Like, okay, we give you more compassion here with how I move and what I am and how I construct you. Oh, that was nasty. Should I do it? It's part of the human existence. I appreciate death. I appreciate death. I appreciate the blackness. For all you light workers out there who be like, oh no, what he does is not true because he's not been into the light. Yeah, I've been so much into the light that I fall into it. And only through the fall you get into the wind, into the winter, into the cold, into the old, into the keymet, into the hole. So you find out, you dig in the hole, and you find out, well, I've been always wrong, and I've been always right, and I've always left it myself, and I'm anchored in my own story, what I keep writing. Because this is my authority outlook. I'm the author of mind. This is how it all works. And I'm just sitting here observing all of this, and I'm speaking with you so compassionate, transparent, and free, giving you the whole completely truth in your face in under an hour. Still, how many beings would we ever be able to grab it, or to understand it, or even to just look at it? They're not able because they're not there yet. But I know in this matrix system, in this grid net, like, you don't know how freaking big I am. And it is not about that I show off, but I know how it works. And like, I see these puppets under the freaking country spells and everything. You don't believe in the ether grid? Well, you lost yourself, basically. You think the internet is the real thing. Like, the internet is a slower version of the ether grid. If you get into the ether grid and you understand it, like, you connect certain things with yourself through the internet and ether grid, well, all is mind. That means you can connect with certain things which are already inside of you, and you can activate them inside of your skull, so you will connect yourself to the deities and to the other beings, to the other souls that are on the track where you have to go. Like I said, you never go anywhere. You can go back in time, you can go forward. Like, it does not matter. All you keep experiencing is yourself. This is why I do not fight anymore. Why should I fight? For what? It's called shadow boxing. I box up my shadow when I fight. And yes, life is about the dead and the living. Facing your own shadows, facing your own fears. And it is about teaching other beings to get through the next realm. And it's about experiencing themselves, and they have to do certain things only for themselves. And it is good to learn the techniques. But I give it to you in the most transparent way, and I speak openly about it. See the stillness? This is how we get further into it. It's like, oh yeah, you have to learn how to punch. I mean, like, yes, certainly somehow to break through the barrier, but now it's about like developing your consciousness, developing your mind state. I can build your temple up from the complete ground, and there are beings who are doing that. But it's now we went already to consciousness. So now we have to get transparent with it. We have to synchronize it. We have to be able to speak our minds and connect. And then we figure out, well, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because the only thing that really occurs is that you keep experiencing your own outlook. You keep experiencing your own self. So what to do? Nothing. Nothing is really there. You've only put your hands into something, figure out, well, I mean, it's part of myself. It seems like this is what I am. This is my moment. Great. So, welcome to the stage. And why should I go to a freaking stage? The world is my stage. I appear on the stage all the time in society. And I appear in the black mirror. If you would like to see me, there I am. If you don't like to see me, go away. Like, this is all on you. This is your own mirror that you keep producing for yourself. The quest is, what kind of idea do you power in your mind? What do you support with your flexing brain capacity? And like, consciously, I don't see many beings who are flexing their brain into something, who are consciously supporting certain ideas. I know, like, I support the system consciously, the idea of truthfulness, compassion, tolerance out of the program of Falun Dafa, Falun Gong. I support that. Why? Because I see the value in it, and I see the benefit which it does to souls. Do I reform it? No. Because I'm always speaking from, like, hey, this is what I do. I don't know what you do. Falun Dafa, Falun Gong brought me here to the place where I am. It is part of myself. It is part of my journey. It doesn't have to be part of yours. But it made me open up my mouth after shutting down for so many years. And that was also part of the process. Like, most beings go to school, think after 12 years they're completely finished with it. It's funny. Then they get into a system and be like, oh, you know, I went to school, I went to then university, and you learn certain things, you identify with the PhD that you got. Still, you have no clue how this reality works. Still, you have no clue what this realm really is. Still, you have no outlook capacities. And you following a certain competition that there is nothing to compete than ever with yourself. Oh, you went, like, most of these beings have never went to elementary school. You've never really gotten into the elements. You've never probably get into your own garden, into your kinders. Seconds, then you get. Have you ever get into seconds, into moments? Have you been into moments, into seconds? No, because you keep chasing something. Oh, you get to high school? Like that what you talk about doesn't sound very high to me. That's high level. But you think you've gone then to university. You cannot spell. You cannot like flip letters and trick around with letters. You cannot probably like write graffiti. Can you write graffiti? Or can you be artful, heartful? Do you have compassion? But still, you might be better because you figured out something with your PhD. All you've been chasing was, and you developed your soul. I mean, that's great. It's part of your life. And you supported a certain system which brought forward certain technology advances, which is great. But who says that these technology advances, like, they have already been here? Like, take a look into, like, ancient Egypt. Where does ancient Egypt come from? Chemetics? Oh, we get even further, like, but then it gets way too conspiracy theoretically for you. The Atlantis, Lemurians, Hyperboreans, Polarians, spirituality coming from the stars, that's not possible. The 5D ether grid. So how would you ever claim that your technology advances might not ever already been here? And you think with your PhD you are so advanced in yourself. The code is already inside of you. The ancient code of yourself is inside of you. You can connect yourself with it. It's already in you. You have to just start to like loop yourself, and then you figure out, you go back in time, you figure out how the shit that we see here was already here. So this soul, like humanity, like we get into the breath again. So hum, so hum, so hum. So you have to do om. We get to om, all right? So no thing, the wave, the like sitting still, being crossed, and then you have like, you see this? I'm crossed here, and in my head is the ankh. I'm the uncle. And I'm anchored with the spinning wheel in myself. This is why I'm so freaking damn great, powerful. I keep like stretching time and everything with myself, yeah. But humanity rises and it falls. It rises and it falls. It rises and it falls. And every time it falls, you think like, oh, we figured out something, and then like, oh, we figured out something again. Everybody forgets it, and then you're like, oh, it was that way. I was like, oh, it was that way. Oh, you keep forgetting that. And it was always yourself. That's the complete code to yourself. But no, urine drinking is very ugly, or it is very it stinks. I'm like, no, you stink with your consciousness. Because the only thing that you think exists, like, you don't know that it is all you. And then once you get into that, then you can start to create. But what is there to create? It's a journey. It's a never-ending journey. Is it about getting immortal? I mean, like, now that's a type of outlook. That's a type of perception and question. What would you like to identify with? Like, oh, I want to become a breatharian and live forever. I don't know. No, that's not like it. It's at least not the goal for me. Like, oh, you have better connection to spirit when we get into breatharian ways. I mean, I don't know. Could be. Seems like everything that I so transparently talk sounds very original to me. Sounds very spiritually to me. So why get into breatharianism? Sounds also like an attachment to me. Attachment means that you're attaching your mind to something. So it's only this. Like, you're not tolerant, you're not flexible. Oh, if we eat the meat, you've probably never met yourself, meeting up yourself. Like, I can meet up myself. Like, I can densify myself to the death and realize, oh shit, it's always myself. So what to do? I got, switch between things. Like, alright. Follow your own guidelines, follow your own track, walk your own way, walk your own Dao and Tao, but be truthful with what you do. And tolerate it, I could work in the darkest hole and still because I know the original laws, there is basically, if you really, I'm getting more and more into keymetic yoga. I don't want to speak too much about it because basically I don't know too much about it. But if you really understand micro movements, and if you become really aware of what you how you move and what you do, where you ever put your hands into, and that's only a type of perception and perspective. A Persian scepter. A Persian scepter is the walking alchemist through the desert, lonely shepherd, lonely ranger. Knowing all of this, and where does it get me? Other than in myself. Other than in my cell phone. Fuck yes. Oh yeah. That's how it is, huh? Seems like that's a journey to self. To become dad and be alive, I'm a dad. I'm observing my kids here. I'm already at the perspective of a grandfather. There. Free falls into urine, into urine. Alpha. LP, P, uncle. You don't understand how powerful voice and spelling is. That's all you have. That's isn't it that many beings, or every being, every soul just looks out for freedom? What does freedom mean? It's standing there right in front of your face. It means free dome, which means free skull, free head, free school. Oh yeah, I don't have to school mommy and papi. Great. I just be myself. So you're not in your head anymore. You're just hey, I express myself. No matter who I am, what I do. This is my free spirit. Great. Everybody can do it. Everybody should do it. Everybody is allowed to do it. All the time. You're a free spirit. This is all on you, what you do. But because there are not so many self-realized beings, we keep mirroring these things back to ourselves. That's what it is. I see these ether grids, I'm the only Buddha who reaches out his hands here and be hey, you know what, self-realize, you are here in the grid. You're here, put your godly hands not into things which you do not want to power. Speak your voice if you know where you're anchored in and what you resonate with. Keymet. Oh, this gets me also into Kenya. I've been to Kenya, into Africa. And now it all makes sense. All things make sense, yo. Why am this physiotherapy studio over there? And I see this mirror. And like I said, I'm already out of the worldly things. I'm out of the sun and the moon, and I observe it from another perception and perspective of myself. I'd be like, I am the black sun who shines out and in. I even break the synchronicity. And I sit here and all I do and all I see and all I feel and observe is that I burnt myself to the outside. This is when you become real powerful, because you are a fire. I am a candle. And thousands of candles can be lighted up from a single one. See that? I burn my candle here. My candle keeps on burning here. You can never diminish my fire. Never. Because I have it in me. And I would just speak on what I speak. I just do what I do. And that's what everybody does still. Like, what? And then the question is, what do you support with your voice? What do you resonate with? What is the essence, the skill of your own self, your own voice? What did you cultivate? What do you resonate with? Seems like so clownish, right? I'm sitting here in front of nowhere. I know where I am. I am in myself. I'm wearing my pants and my socks like a freaking clown, with barefoot shoes, and gazing into the sun, drinking my urine, and tell you how the world works. Who would ever listen to this clown? And I tell you, well, hey, you completely fooled by the image. And this is the whole trick with it. Because it's not about the mirror. It's about the resonance, the mind, the frequency, the emitting, what you have inside of you, how it's functioning. I burn myself, my candle, with these caffeine pills and all these other pills that you know that I'm addicted. I'm spelled with the supplements, with the supplements. And still, why do I take it? Because they make my imagination, my mind capacity, my brain, my gray matter more supple, more flexible. So I can be so freaking brilliant and mirror that to you. Oh, this guy takes drugs. Call it whatever you call it. These are just words. I'm out of this game, you know. This is a freaking game. If you know about spirituality and you connect it to yourself, to urine and black hole, keymetic yoga movement. This is all completely illustrated, illusionary. And I'm the illustrator. I'm the comic author. So this is why I keep cultivating myself in the dark. And when I appear on stage on the black mirror, I shine out my light. I shine out my voice. The voice of the universe, of the galaxies. It's not even about English or angelish. It's about the certain undertone in my voice, which no matter what I speak, is completely truthful, compassionate, and tolerant. And in other realms, it's the same. Because I'm not making this shit up. I'm so transparent, truthful, compassionate, and tolerant in all aspects. I am. So this is why I'm also that in other realms. Simultaneously, breaking the mirror, breaking all different patterns. This is in a mirror in all realms. This is a message in all realms. This is a lecture in all realms, basically. You better listen to this lecture. I know for a fact I'm one of the greatest. I'm one of the greatest spirits in all galaxies, in all realms. But I stay humble with it. Because ordinary humans are not ready to listen, or they're just slowly developing that capacity. That's cool. I mean, but like, don't be so tricked by the system. The way out or the way up is spirituality. What else? Should I create? Yeah, I mean, like, okay, get into the seashells. Because I like it to create another mirror to myself. Still, what is going on over there? I mean, it seems like it's warmer over there. But if you really get in yourself, if you really master all the things I would just spell yourself with, masterful move mind, alchemy, it's all in yourself. It's all just how you perceive the world, how you spell out the word. So only the mirrors change, but that's an illusionary concept. Still, I like the vibe on the seashells because it's an island. I landed on the pearl there, the seashell, because I see my own shell that I basically burned. And it's even about like, okay, like getting rid of that attachment, because in the end, that's also like a concept. So where to go? Nowhere. Like, I'm just good here. And I could do everything no matter where. But sometimes I'm like, if everything is mine, so if you just focus in the matrix grid on the move mind of somebody, that's easily to explain to human spirits. If you only focus on the move mind and you totally forget about the whole surroundings, what do you have? You have the dense physical avatar of somebody, right? Okay, then get into the psychology of this being, of the mind capacity. So what do we have then? Only the outlook is constructed by the mind capacity, by the brain, basically. But even then, basically the whole complete shell and everything is the same. So what is really different? The mind. Now basically, okay, now then if we get into language and the mind, also that is basically all bubbling, it's all the same also. So what do we have then? The quest is the black soul, the black sun, like what do you resonate with and on the essence? This is what transforms you and what breaks the mirror and will get you to another spherical plane. Because then you start to realize that what I all just spelled, this is all you mirrored out. So this is how you basically put yourself in front of you as a direct reflection. So this is when you start to change sights or sides. You start to switch perceptions. And I do all these things because sometimes I'm like, I'm also getting like, I'm tricking myself all the time, and that's basically what life is. Life is a curve. It's in breath, out breath, in breath, out breath. So then, so hum, rising, falling. Take a look into nature. Spring, summer, autumn, fall, winter. And get out of this construct, observe it from yourself. I'm not spelled by nature. I'm looking at this whole construct from an outer plane. This is what high cultivation is, high hoods. Like, look at my mad elixirs that I punched together in this alchemical realm, This masterful mind alchemy. The prize winning Isn't that funny? Like, imagine you're chasing trophies. What is the real trophy? Like, that's a matter. It's a more densified version of gold, which is basically yourself, which is urine, which is about becoming a flow and developing your own journey, developing yourself. So you walk through that desert, walking that furrow, going back to the roots, going back to the spirit. And I could ingest all of your things that you give me, but it's like, I mean, does it change something? Isn't that funny? The more you get into the materialistic plane, the more you plug yourself into a mind construct, which is A, not you, and which is B, making your mind very much dumber and slower, and number. So you become a number. You become like in the prisoner's game, and the ghetto prisoners, which all of you might are. You become a certain number. You're like, oh, like this. No, it's your voice. It's your resonance. It's what you think it is. That's how it works. That's why I spell myself with I am a free spirit. I am whatever I might become. I walk my path. I walk my journey. And I provide all of you with this information, with this gnosis. The further you go into certain things, you see that it is already and was already here. It is, everything is there. Yeah, but we have to. Yeah, then it's about like, okay, synchronicity, putting things together. Then you start to see that it's about synchronizing your brain, synchronizing yourself. If you start to synchronize yourself more with other things, you start to work on your perception and outlook. So then you start to realize, well, I cannot change the world. The only thing that I can really change and interconnect as myself is your brain. So the quest is, how webbed is your brain? This gets into consciousness uploading. So then we get into like, okay, internet grids and see, internet, like, oh yeah, internet. Yeah, we get into the etherical planes, which are and were already here. So nothing is ever changing than your own perception and outlook and perspective of life. It's like, oh yeah, we have to pass on that knowledge. Yeah, that might be an interesting path. That might be wise. Yeah, and this is what I do. In the most transparent and truthful way. There you have it, right in front of your face. No other symbols, no other currency involved, just completely truth and fact hacked in your freaking damn soul face, in your black sun. But like, your capacity to listen is probably fooled or not ready, or you cannot endure 1 hour and 24 minutes of complete truth in your ear. Where? In yourself. And I love it, you know. That's like, okay, I share my gnosis, and I only create my diary for myself in the end. Because how would I ever say that you exist? It's impossible. I cannot do it. I can only say, well, you seems like, even if you would appear in front of me, I could touch you. But it's like, it's still my consciousness, huh? Speaking your consciousness transparent. Lead into existence. Do it. And then you start to realize what you really are. Start to reflect more on the black mirror on yourself. Isn't that freaking intelligent? Yes, it is. Isn't that freaking brilliant? Yes, it is. But still, this language is very much slow. Originally, all like what I talked in over an hour could be in the past be like, all right, do you have it? Okay, thank you. See you. Still, like, you don't believe that's true. You don't believe that it could work. That's your problem with your belief system. Is it about like, oh, you can develop that type of skills? No. So what is it then about? Yeah, well, go in your direction, go in your journey, and find out that you basically never go anywhere. So start to develop your anchor in your harbor. Right? This gets into Hamburg. I'm in Hamburg, you know, the city in Germany of the harbor, you know, which is the doorway to the world, to the word. It's like, oh, you open up the gates and you open up the portal, which is where do you think the portal sits? You think you go physically to a certain portal and be like, oh, now I beamed up somewhere? No, the portal is, of course, yourself. Like, where else should it sit? Oh, but yeah, it's like, ooh. See, that's why I say I'm in kindergarten. I'm literally in kindergarten. I'm only speaking to complete dumb beings. Completely. Like, it's so bizarre. And these beings think that I'm the crazy one. No, I'm compassionate with you. I share with you the original workings. So what can you do? If you would ask me, what can I do, Jan, in order to develop myself? Well, be yourself in the first place. Do you want to get into the things that I do? Get into Falun Gong, Falun Dafa. Do Paida. Gaze into the sun. Hold urine in your mouth. Put urine in your senses. Ears, eyes, nose, mouth, skin. Drink it. Do the urine enemas. Understand your deity, your diet. Understand alchemy. Understand what you ingest has an effect on your mind state. Understand that everything is mind. Get into the hermetic laws. Get into keyemetics. Get into movement. Because the positions and the postures that you put inside of you and that you express yourself with are a reflection of your mind state. So this is why I don't see really also the reason to fight, because this would be an expressional thing of I want to destroy, which is part of life, which is also black, becoming the whole. But if you really understand it, then it's happening in your mind. It's all ghosts chasing in your mind that you think, oh, I have to do this, that. So you develop a spiritual capacity, the outlook of a spirit, of yourself. Get into Kalaripaya. Get into... And what are these spells all that I spell you with? What is it in the end? It's mind. It's move mind. And I've been telling that for a long time. And it's yourself. Urine, air, elements. Sun, black. These things are all encoded inside of you. Still, you've not really understand them. Still, you've not realized them. Why? Why don't you just see what it is? Because the mirror is too active in front of yourself. Your shell is still there. Your pearl is not developed. Your fire is not out. You're not burned. You have to be burned. These are all symbols. In the history, that was not really what occurred. That were imaginary symbols for your own soul development. Oh, witches were getting burned. The cross was burned. the further and further you get into things, it's about realizing the black hole, which you start to realize this is true self-realization. That everything that you have in front of you is created by you, for you, was you, in you, out you, out yourself. Like, oh, you're afraid of outing yourself? You're afraid of outing yourself? You're afraid of outing yourself? all you do is holding certain things back from yourself. Nobody else. That's good. Don't you understand that? It's like, that's you. That's true self-realization. Hey, why you think you're here? You're here to live for somebody else? No. The greatest secret is that it's all you. So what to do then? I don't know. I just perceive and observe. Sun gazing seems like a very intelligent thing to me. Urine drinking also. Why? Because it's not... Is it about like not producing harm or producing harm? I mean, develop your perception, develop your perspective. But it seems like if everything comes from me and if everything is mine, why should I then go somewhere and pick something which makes myself slower? Which actually then also does harm to a certain other thing. If I could also observe it and be like, okay, I understand that in my mind, so why should I get into the process of doing that? It doesn't seem intelligent to me. Yeah, I have to feel that. Yeah, all you do is chase a feeling. That's all you do. That's all you do. All you do is chase a certain feeling. Because you've not mastered yourself. You've not mastered that the feeling is basically, the feeling is coming from you. That's the truth. The truth is that you send out the feeling. So why do you think you have to chase the feeling? You are a retarded idiot because you think you need the other thing to feel. No, the feeling was emitted through you. I know I take caffeine pills, I know I take supplements, but these are all tools to me. I could just sit here, observe the sunlight, like, okay, let's go to sleep, I'll wake up, go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep, wake up. It's like, okay, observe it. But the more and more we get into the whole process, we keep chasing the rabbit down the rabbit hole. We do more and more things which distracts us basically from ourselves. That's completely idiotic to me. Completely. Yeah, what should I like? It's all about your mind. It's all about like, okay, these things are already all here, you know. Like, should I teach you how to move? It's already in you. You move how you move. You are how you are. Your mind is how your mind is. Yeah, you can improve that. I mean, I could give you certain things to develop yourself. Yeah, I mean, become alpha, you know, like alpha, beta, zeta, whatever. Become a spiller. Spill your semen and eggs into something, into existence. Like, should I do that? You know, like, okay, then I have to be responsible for what I create. I could reach out with my type of information to so many beings who would be ready for it and who would just have the capacity to listen and then to put it into existence for themselves. Yeah, but humans have to feel certain things. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Feel yourself. How? You don't like. You need to like fight somebody else. Why? Yeah, in order to experience yourself. Yeah, but you can, like, you experience yourself if you just feel yourself, yo. But how would humans go into themselves? With the strategies that I could give you. So should I make a room, you know, like I create a room. A consciousness room. That's what we basically do, a consciousness room. Oh. Yeah, you have to slow it down, slow it to the more earth capacity. Yeah, I mean, like, okay, I think it might be intelligent to. It might be intelligent to leave this place here. So we can put it then into existence. I mean, I don't know. In the end, it's an image to myself. Let's become a ninja again. Like, oh, ninja? No, I become, be yourself. Yeah, let's make it to the 42 laws of Ma'at, speak them into existence, because, like, you know, like keymetic yoga seems intelligent to me, but that's also like, then what is that about? Keymetic yoga is about mindful movement, you know, and it's like, oh, mindful movement, okay, what is that about? Mind, huh? So it's about my outlook. And that's what everybody has in the end. So it's about reconnecting yourself to yourself, which is your own self. Phone. The black hole which emits the light. So, I don't know. I mean, I know.
Yeah, so I think we might just. What do we do? Observe the sun. Light myself. Observe the black light, which we produce for ourselves in order to experience the realm. It's like, oh, look, this is where I was just sitting. Like over there, the corner. There it was. Yeah, so, what does it say? Jung Heinrich. Jung and rich. I'm young and rich. Young and rich, it says over there. Rich-hearted. Truthfulness, compassion, tolerance.